So for PRAZ as a regulator, what we've decided to do is to always align with national programs. If our nation is also observing, be it the regional or global events, we also make sure that we follow suit. So you'd find that starting from last year, we had an inaugural women's conference where we felt it would be prudent for us to acknowledge them as professionals and also hear them out when we are discussing issues, especially operational issues. There are times when we have certain conferences which are sort of just generic, but they are very basic issues which, when we are discussing about women folk, also aligning with the global events, would rather also piece them up as a nation. Then we look at those critical issues which affects them as they are operating in the environment. So basically, that's how we have decided to have this as an annual event, an annual calendar. Then coming back now to the very specific one for this year, you would find that we are talking of sustainable procurement as a regulator. Then there are those issues which we feel we really need to zero in on, again aligning with the NDS and the national vision, to say, when you are saying affirmative procurement, domestic preferencing, we want to hear them out to say what is it that they want us to focus on. Our choice of other speakers to come and also engage with them, if I may to cite, say, ZBCA, they are women in construction. And we always go out there and say, according to our act, it talks of domestic preferencing, and it also gives preferences to women-owned businesses, to the youths and all. So what we now want to assist our colleagues now doing is to say, when we are focusing on that, how best can we do it above board, right? So we now need to craft we'll come up with resolutions together, which are very pragmatic. But for us as the regulator, we must make sure that they align to those policies. If it is the SMEs, if it is whatever, we need then, if we are asked by the relevant stakeholders to say, can you show us evidence to say we are supporting this national vision? This is an area now where we are saying, colleagues, let's work together to make sure that we come up with some frameworks which are then measurable in terms of monitoring and evaluation, to say, the women-owned businesses, how are we supporting them doing things above board? Because basically that's what we must do, always being guided by the objectives of the Act, to say, are we transparent, are we fair, are we equitable, and aspects of value for money, are they all encompassing? Then further to that now, as technical people, we are saying, colleagues, we had the training needs analysis done by a consultant, which showed some gaps in the system. In some instances, justifiably so, because with the new act, it then made it mandatory that procurement must be then be conducted by qualified professionals. And you would find that some of them were coming out of tertiary institutions. I've shared this on a different other fora. But as a regulator, we can't then moan and groan about that. We must then capacitate them, right? So we've got a capacity building division, and for the past 48 months or so, we have been trying to do that, but we are still seeing this gap. So we are going to come what we call a public procurement training academy, where we are now looking at the whole sum of not only to training someone on the nitty-gritties, but looking at the broader spectrum of things. If I may give an example, this morning we were, the Honorable Vice President was supervising, sort of seeing those national projects, and when you look at the magnitude of such projects, you are saying there's aspects of project management and contract management, and from a procurement point of view, how then do we then fit into that? So this is what we will be coming up as a training program through the academy, where we'll try to capacitate our colleagues along those lines. And then last but not least, from our side, we are also realizing that on the continental bloc, we are part of the Africa Public Procurement Network, where we are going to be hosting them here with Zimbabwe. Will be taking the chairmanship, I will be taking the president. We, in preparation of that, we want to be a center of excellence as a regional bloc, as a country. So we want to prepare our colleagues to say when colleagues from the continent visit our country and they want to talk to professionals, we don't want to be moaning and groaning. So we take these opportunities to say over and above, realizing that this is a Women's Day, but we then take that opportunity to look at those bigger picture issues. So basically, that's what we are looking at.
Okay, that's very clear. I don't know, say, what are some of the major challenges that you're facing as an industry, I mean, in terms of procurement across the board, be it public or private?
Right. You know, it's to do with the macro environment where people believe so much in what we call forward pricing, indexations, and all those things. Some pricing which is not justified in any manner, and people being reactionary. And we are simply saying, no, colleagues, for the good of the nation, we really need to share this cake equally and see aspects of value for money. So that way, from the bidding community, they sort of become reactionary, forgetting to say we are looking at the same national pace, and we really need to make sure that they understand to say we can go so far, but it will be prudent that we work together to say in terms of our pricing, how best can we deal with those things. Issues to do with corruption and all, we are hopeful those are some of the things which will then be catered for through the electronic government procurement, which was launched by His Excellency last year. And this year, what we are seeing, where we had our only teething problems as we're trying to implement overwhelmed, but we are almost there in terms of the bidders. More than half of the people who bid last year, the whole of last year, have already been registered with PRAZ. Right now, we are finalizing the registration of the procuring entities themselves, so that we are on that platform together. Once we are there, we are very confident that the efficiencies, the effectiveness which we're looking for in terms of public procurement space, the transparency will be there.
In terms of time frame, what target are you looking at?
The target for supplier registrations, we've already started. Right now, the last statistics which we got, where we're talking of more than 8,000 January, February, ordinarily a target which we would achieve by mid-year, we've already achieved that. And if by end of first quarter, by end of March, we are hopeful that all the procuring entities will be registered on the platform, so that we then implement it fully. And we'll be looking, because we have also put it in phases to say phase 1.1, phase 1.2, gradually those steps. So we are expediting to say by end of this year, full throttle, we should be all on electronic government procurement.
And lastly, say, I don't know, maybe in terms of percentage, what are we looking at in terms of the reduction of corruption in the procurement processes in the public sector?
For us, once we have those transparency processes, the beauty about it is the feedback which already started having right now. Some bidders, when ordinarily not using this platform, said once they heard that, when they saw His Excellency launching the program, they started coming to register. For us, that's confidence enough. That's confidence building in the whole process. And even organizations from outside, I still remember talking from the chairperson of the Africa Business Forum, is an Egyptian guy, and he was saying they were even inquiring from PRAZ to say how then can we start having people from the continent registering now on the platform, because they believe so much in that system. So as a nation, we are feeling that we are good to go.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for also coming to also, because for us, I always talk to Chuman or to say, as a regulator, we rely so much on new colleagues and the parliamentarians, because by making sure that the general public get to appreciate some of these things, that's the only way we can keep things like corruption and otherwise, if we will try to do it on our own, we won't get anywhere.